Howdy. I made already some almost 250 videos about mountain water, which is basically the theory which I am developing still. But I think since we understand that mountains and rivers and basically all geologic features on Earth are more or less created by electricity. Electricity is abundant in the universe. There's an unbelievable amount of electricity available, which will be provided to our solar system and therefore also on Earth. There might have been some time ago very, very strong lightning strikes. That's a really simplified map or picture. We have the connection which is made from the heavens to Earth. Energy goes both ways. And in some places where the connectivity or the connection has been strong enough and lasts for a long enough time, maybe 2 minutes or 1 minute is enough, or even less. It burned a hole through the crust and therefore established a connection to the groundwater and the magma below and so on. Over time, there were earthquakes. Things moved a bit. Many of those ancient structures got destroyed. People know, everybody almost on Earth knows that the water comes from the mountains. And here we have some examples of wide rivers. Let's start here on top. Udine, Parma, Italy, the White Rivers. Walgau, Germany, White River. There's two actually. Montmort, France, White River. Nalchik, Russia, White River. Mount St. Helens, USA, White Rivers. Everybody knows Mount St. Helens is a volcano. Mount St. Helens is also growing, the world's fastest growing glacier within its caldera. I don't know, I don't think it's visible here. And I have also been talking about holy places such as churches or whatever. They might be really related to water, more strongly than people assume or think. But I think churches, originally, many of the churches, not all of them, but many of those, and also castles, they were built on places where water got provided from beneath. Otherwise people couldn't stay there. In times of crisis, they would have leave the building, get some water and go back. It doesn't work that way if you are surrounded by enemies, for example. So you have to have at least water in order to maintain your position. And since ancient people knew about the places of the water, because probably they have seen the creation of them with their own eyes, in order to diminish the old history of the ancient people, what happens every now and then, when there is a new paradigm or belief system or whatsoever is established through whole society, then the easiest way was just to build a very nice bunker around a very special place. And in this particular case, I refer to churches with a very nice bunker, because many churches have very thick walls and they're very good made and they withstand quakes and such things. And if you don't belong to the tribe which resides at the church, or however you want to put it, you won't get access to the things inside. It's just the way it is. This also brings us ultimately to a volcano type called Cryptodome. We are explorevolcanoes.com. A cryptodome literally means hidden dome and refers to a lava dome which is hidden within the structure of the volcano. Most lava domes are extruded in the crater area of the volcano. If, however, the rising magma cannot ascend to the surface, then the dome will build within the volcano, causing the volcano slopes to bulge. The most infamous example is of Mount St. Helens, where Cryptodome caused the northern slopes of the volcano to bulge. An earthquake dislodged the mountain covering the dome, causing a landslide which dramatically released the pressure of the magma on the magma, causing a massive lateral blast that extended for 20 miles. That's it. Volcano Learning Zone. That's it. That's all what they know about Cryptodome on this page here, for example. Over Wikipedia, we find the same picture. A cryptodome, from the Greek kryptos, hidden, secret, is a dome-shaped structure created by accumulation of viscous magma at a shallow depth. One example of a cryptodome was in the May 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. You have to understand that I have to search it for now. Wait a second. So now, you have to play around with the languages on Wikipedia. Sometimes you have to check out for one language and then you let it translate by Google Earth. Because if you go to the English version of Wikipedia, you probably won't find the same thing. But anyway, at the Cryptodome, also known as the Source Dome. This is very important, because it is water what they're talking about. Source, a well, spring, water. In Germany there are several of them. One is a dragon rock. And the ancients referred to electric discharge phenomena in the sky and in the heavens, supersonic winds and stuff like that, which is unimaginable to modern people. Many cultures around the world called these events dragons. It's basically an impersonification of unimaginable extreme weather. And here on this Wikipedia page, we have here also down, I made a video about this also. Several new cryptodomes have emerged on Mount Uso, a volcano on the Japanese island of Hokkaido, in recent centuries. August 11th, 2022. So that's some time old already. Gigantic geyser erupts from Shinto Shrine's forest on the night before its summer festival. I just want to point out it's a shrine, so it's a holy place. And we are talking about the geyser. The way it looks, sounds and smells all have people paying attention to this amazing display of the force of nature. Because of how many Shinto shrines Japan has, sometimes they sort of blend into a town's visual background, so to speak. That's especially true in rural communities where traditional architecture and the surrounding grove of trees don't look at all out of place. And so for most of the year, Inari Shrine in the town of Ojamambe, Hokkaido Prefecture, doesn't attract a whole lot of attention. An annual exception, though, comes every August when the shrine holds its annual summer festival and procession. That event was scheduled for August 9th this year, but Inari found itself in the spotlight a day earlier when a gigantic geyser burst out of the middle of the shrine grounds forest. The stream of water shot more than 30 meters into the air. And it's not just the sight that is incredible, but the sound too. So, now back quickly to the dragons. There are different kinds of dragons, but almost all of them. They are known for being very loud. That's why they are big. That's why they look scary, because they make scary sounds and they are very strong. Very loud. And some of them spit fire, some might spit water as well. But they are loud. Water can't spray that high without some serious velocity, and the geyser produces a steady roar as it sprayed the underside of the surrounding leaves and branches on its way up. Let's check this out too. While such a sudden and forceful show of the power of nature might seem like a divine omen, especially coming just one day before the shrine's festival, there is a pretty likely scientific explanation for what's going on. While not boiling hot, the water of the geyser is about 20 degrees Celsius, and I have been talking about this as well. Geothermal activity. You cannot only take the hot water into account when talking about geothermal activity, you have to take the cold part too. And in my theory, I go even a step further, because it doesn't stop at zero. It goes even more down, even lower than zero, hence glaciers. Geothermal activity. It goes from wherever you can find a geyser with hot water. How hot it can get depends probably on the composition of the water and such. But we have to take also the cold part of the whole spectrum into account, which is considerably warmer than what you'd find in a lake or river. The geyser also has a sulfur-like aroma and a grey tint. And collected samples of the water also contain sediment, although it's unclear whether the mineral substances are present at the source or were acquired in the act of cleaning the surface. Taken as a whole, and accounting for Japan's high level of geothermal activity, it sure sounds like there is a hot spring hidden underneath the shrine grounds. Though researchers have yet to make the definitive statement to that effect as they continue to study the geyser and its water. For those unaccustomed to metric measurements, yeah. Let's check this out still. Three seconds. Yes. They were too scared. A similar incident occurred in the forest in 1961, taking at least 2 days for the geyser to subside. So it's a recurrent event. Per the most recent on-site reports of this writing, the spray was continuing just as strong 2 days later on August 10th, but thankfully no damage has been reported. Yeah, I just found this some 2 hours ago or something. I couldn't really dive into that yet. But we all know there is tons and tons of volcanoes in Japan. Many. They're all over the place. And this shrine, where we had this event, I didn't find it yet. There is a forest, Ojamambe Park. And we are on the volcano Inari Shrine. Aha, there it is. Rinto Shrine. So I assume it is in this forest. Let's just look quickly around. Is there any wide river or something which could be close to a wide river? Since I'm obviously the only one who's talking about wide rivers. And I would say that's one. They're not all exactly the same, of course. But it seems to be rather wide. And it goes basically through the town of Ojamambe, where we had the shrine and the geothermal activity. Why I think this all is so important to talk about? Because for people in Europe, I think it might come as a surprise, but the geothermal potential of Europe is very high. There are many people living there. Eifel area, Clermont-Ferrand. Here is something very strongly also going on in northern Germany. The Brocken. So, if we go back to this map, zoom out and zip over the world into the Alps region. I just want to point out this quake is in the, I think so, in the red area, what we just watched. And here we have like earthquakes, glaciers, geothermal activity, water, springs, and all kinds of things all together. And if there's a water spring, like this kind of geyser type of water spring, which comes out of the mountain in a place, or it doesn't have to be a mountain at all. The environment has just to be more or less frozen. It will probably form a glacier, because the water keeps pushing from below. And probably you noticed, maybe you have noticed, hopefully you noticed just before in the videos that the geyser, what we just listened to, he had this interval, its own frequency. Like all of those have. Everything has its own frequency intervals like you have, I do. Sometimes they are good from nature, sometimes not. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you don't. That's the highest peak of the Alps. Very nice glaciers. Many quakes. There's like many quakes going on. That's a hot spot in the Alps since a few weeks. And there are like many tales also in the Swiss Alps about this sudden water coming from the mountains. Usually it's explained away by weather occurrences, but not always. I think water from the heavens, let's say rain, does the job alone. There might be water pouring out of the mountains in huge amounts, surprisingly to the people. And because of this nature of, let's call it water eruption, they get flooded every now and then. Tagliamento River in northern Italy, the last free river of the Alps. The reason for this might be it is just too wild. The fluctuations in the amount of water and sediments is too big to handle for humans. It's too expensive, you know. And it is very white. It is alkaline in nature. There are hot springs all over the place here. The river is fed by aquifers along the way to the Mediterranean. Yeah, I think that's all very interesting. And I just tried somehow to warn people that it might be possible. I just tried to provide as much findings I can in order to get somehow a discussion about this. Because it might be important. There are many people living at the feet of mountains because of the water. But anyway, I leave it here. That was a very long video. And yes, anyway, thanks.